Come on. Catch up, master. Pick up the phone. What? Oh. For those end times movies.
Are you the one called the Storyteller?
Nicolas Cage?
You're Nicolas Cage? What a coincidence, so am I.
No, I'm the Storyteller. Are you Nicolas Cage?
Yes. Well, no, not really. I'm actually the embodiment of the upcoming Left Behind reboot starring Nicolas Cage. I have heard about a so-called storyteller who has spewed nothing but hate for my kind.
Your kind? You mean horrible end times movies?
Yes. I mean, no. You see, this is the kind of slander I have to deal with all the time. I'm a legitimate feature film with an A-list actor, and no one is taking me seriously. So I'm gonna show the world what end times movies are made of, and open up a can of great tribulation over all critic hacks like you. Prepare yourself, Storyteller, for the revenge of end times movies. Attack!
Alright. Shields are on. Now what? I gotta fight them off somehow. Maybe if I review them, it'll weaken them and I can fight them off that way. But there's so many of them, I can't do it by myself. Need some backup. Comic strip critic, this is the Storyteller. I need your help.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm being attacked by end times movies. I'm going to try to review them to weaken them, but I can't do this on my own. I need your help.
I don't really know what I could do there. That's not really in my area. I don't think I could help you out much.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Well, do you think you could at least order me some of your brain bleach? Because if I survive this, I'm going to need it.
No problem, man. I'll put it in an order for you. Good luck.
Well, so much for that idea.
Storyteller, come out and meet your end. See what I did there, guys? Meet your end, because we're in end times movies, get it?
Yeah, not gonna happen. You want me? Come and get me.
Fine. New World Order, attack!
Ugh, New World Order. The trailer for that one bored me. It came out in 2012 and tells the story of two women who are suffering from the rule of the New World Order, led by Lord Aldo de Luca, aka the Antichrist. After 3 minutes of opening credits, the movie opens with a van full of people being herded out by soldiers.
Get out. Females first.
And who says chivalry is dead? As the prisoners are held in a waiting room, we get a flashback to before the world went down the toilet.
I was just doing some reading in the park. Book of Revelations.
Sorry, stop. Pet peeve. Revelation, not revelations. Look at the book. See? It's Revelation singular. Why do so many people always say revelations? It's not. Anyway, flashback shows us how the women came to meet their respective boyfriends and some of the world events leading up to the takeover by the Antichrist. Flash forward, the rapture's taken place, off screen. The New World Order is firmly in power and the enforcement of the Mark of the Beast is in full swing. The women find themselves on the run when they refuse to take the mark and meet up with a tiny resistance cell headed by their boyfriends. But then, after a betrayal by one of their own, they're captured and were brought back to the beginning of the movie. And that's pretty much it. New World Order reminded me of a remake of A Thief in the Night crossed with the dullness of Years of the Beast. It's slow, it's tedious, it's kind of boring, and by the end I found myself wondering what message the filmmakers were really trying to communicate with this. On the plus side, it's very well shot and the acting is good, with the exception of the very hammy villains. But what really got me about this movie was just how much of a fail the ending was. Sorry, spoiler alert, but I've got to address this. While the girls are being held and awaiting execution, the one who's been the main character throughout encourages her friend to stay strong and not deny the faith. She gets called in for her turn on the chopping block, and then we get this bit.
No! I will see you in glory.
Then she's taken away, and the other girl prays fervently for strength to face death. Then, as she's being carried off, she passes her friend on the way out. With the mark. Okay. So the main character caves in the end and denies her lord to save her life. I can go with that. It's a good dramatic twist ending that could really have a lot of power if it hadn't happened off screen. Something that dramatic and important has to be seen. Show, don't tell. Show us her final struggle as she faces the reality of being executed, and then we can see the inner turmoil as she makes her decision to deny her lord and take the mark. She's a good actress. It would have been a very powerful performance that would have really left the audience with a big, thoughtful whoa moment at the end. The big problem with not being able to see the main character fall at the end is that she's the one we've been following the entire time. We haven't seen much of the friend. We don't really care about her character so much. The one whose journey we've been invested in is the main character, and to not see that final twist at the end, it's like you've robbed the audience of that last moment to connect with their character. I'm sorry, but my review the preview verdict still stands. Skip this movie.
Oh, come on. So the ending was a little weak. Big deal.
Every good filmmaker knows if your ending is bad, your whole movie is bad.
Oh, fine. You win round one. But let's see you take on 2 movies at once. Leap movies. Get him.
What? Oh, that's different. No pre-trib rapture. And there's parkour. This could actually be interesting. So here's the story. These 3 Christian kids see a guy named Shane practicing parkour at their college. Amazed by his skills, they ask him to teach them, which he does. Then they invite him to their Bible study where they're studying the end times. The conversations lead to Shane accepting the Lord, much to the ire of his girlfriend, who hates Christians. Parkour scene, Bible study scene, parkour scene, Bible study scene, and then the ex-girlfriend shows up, kidnaps Shane and one of the girls, and threatens to kill them if they don't renounce their faith. They escape, the girl gets killed, chase scene, Shane gets away. Then, just as the movie ends, there's a news report that some random dictator has taken over the world and is starting to make people take a mark of loyalty. Okay. This one just hurts. I'm sorry, but this has got to be the worst movie I have ever seen. I'm not kidding. I cannot think of a single movie I've ever seen that is more poorly made or poorly acted or has a more clumsily written story. Nothing personal against the people who made this. I'm sure they did the best they could with what they had at the time. But it still didn't come out very well. To their credit, though, it looks like they really learned from their mistakes, because the second movie, Leap 2: Rise of the Beast, is much better made. It's still not a very good movie, but it's way better than the first one. It's been a few years since the first movie. Shane, who I'm now going to call Captain Cargo Pants because that's seriously all he wears, is leading a new crew of traceurs since the 2 surviving original crew were arrested by the government. Captain Cargo Pants and his crew now live in hiding, evading the police and trying to share the truth about the government with people. But as they continue to study the Bible to figure out what's going to happen next, Captain Cargo Pants makes a startling discovery about who the Beast of Revelation really is.
I think the Bible might be talking about the Vatican.
Okay. Definitely not your typical end times movie approach. How am I going to explain this one? Hello?
Hello, Storyteller.
Mr. Researcher?
Yeah, those Leap movies espouse Seventh-day Adventist eschatology. See, they believe that the Catholic Church's changing of the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday will play a key part in end times events. A little different than the mainstream you usually see in Christian movies, but it is a big part of the denomination's beliefs.
How do you know I'm reviewing the Leap movies?
Actually, I'm right outside the house now. You see, I would have come in sooner, but you got the force field up.
Oh. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good luck with the rest of the review.
Gee, thanks. So, yeah, remember a few years ago when I last reviewed End Times movies en masse like this?
Now see, maybe if there was more theological variety in these End Times movies, it might help reduce the same old factor.
So, yeah, points to these movies for being different. Again, they're still not very good movies, but at least they're different. The second one does do a much better job of telling an actual story, rather than just being a mashup of parkour tutorials and Bible studies. It's still very talky, and the acting is pretty deadpan all across the board. So, yeah, you can legally watch them for free on YouTube, but I'm not gonna watch them again.
Now, how hard is it to destroy some no-name critic? Just go in there, destroy him. That's all you have to do.
Why don't you come on and take me yourself? I've got plenty of opinions about you.
Let me think about that. While I strike you with the might of Pure Flicks, Mark 1, Mark 2, get him! Oh, I seem to recall you said you enjoyed Pure Flicks' other End Times movies, the Revelation Road series. Let's see if you can resist these two.
Okay, I'll admit I did enjoy the Revelation Road movies, but more in a this is kind of ridiculous, guilty pleasure sort of way. But Pureflix really knows how to crank out movies that are visually high quality and well acted, and that includes their End Times movies. I can never fault them for their production values. The stories themselves, though, can be hit and miss. So let's see how these ones hold up.
The Mark series is about Chad Turner, a former Special Forces officer turned mercenary, who accidentally gets implanted with the first functioning prototype of a biometric chip implant. Chad is then recruited by the chip's manufacturer, the Avanti Corporation, to go to the G20 summit and present this revolutionary technology to the world. Unfortunately, a mysterious, gravel-voiced European man named Philip Turk
Antichrist.
hires a ruthless mercenary to hunt down Chad. The flight to the summit quickly becomes a base under siege as the mercenaries hijack the flight. After a long battle with a high body count, Chad and a flight attendant named Dow cleverly turn the tide, just before the rapture happens. Chad realizes that since the rapture happened, the chip he's implanted with may end up being the mark of the beast. Chad resolves not to let the chip fall into the wrong hands and manages to make his escape back into Thailand.
I will find you, Mr. Turner. No matter where you run, I will find you. I will find him!
The first movie's actually a pretty decent base under siege story. It's good acting, well shot, and it's got some good tension and suspense. Now, the violence definitely keeps us in the older teen/adults category, but I would say that it's realistic-ish without being overly gratuitous. Some of the CGI is pretty bad, and the whole rapture on a plane sequence looks like it was lifted directly out of Left Behind. But let's see how the second one holds up.
So Chad and Dow are on the run, trying to figure out a way to get the chip out of Chad. Turk starts his rise to power amidst the post-rapture chaos, and Pike holds the Avanti CEO captive while he continues to hunt Chad down. Along the way, Dow reveals that she had had a sister growing up who was taken away by a gang as payment for their father's debts. Turns out, her sister was sold to Avanti as one of the test subjects for early prototypes of the chip.
And I realize I neglected to mention a very important aspect of the chip. The movie explains that the chip is biometric, meaning that it's powered by the host's bloodstream. This means that if the host is killed or if the chip is forcibly removed, it will die. But not only that, if the chip is forcibly removed, it releases a toxin that kills the host, and then the chip itself will die. So really, that's the only thing that's keeping Chad alive, because the mercenaries can't kill him or just rip the chip out without destroying the chip.
Storyteller, I heard you need some help reviewing some movies.
Namio? Yeah, absolutely. They're coming at me 2 at a time now.
Coming at you?
Yeah, my house is being attacked by the living posters of End Times movies. And I just realized how silly that sounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave now.
No, wait. Could you at least give me some ammo for reviewing the Mark movies?
The Mark movies? Oh yeah, how about how idiotic the chip technology is? Really? If the chip's removed or damaged, it will kill you? And they expect to market this how exactly? Oh, wait, I forgot. In end times movies, everyone turns into complete morons after the rapture happens.
Yeah. You know, the UN does seem pretty eager to elect some random entrepreneur with no stated political experience to lead the entire world. Thanks. If I survive this, I'll be sure to plug your show on my site.
Okay, thanks. Good luck.
You know, Namio has a point. For all the action and good production values, this movie does have some pretty big flaws in its logic. I get it, they're trying to plug future plot holes and give a legitimate reason why taking the mark would be a permanent decision later on. But I would be curious to see how someone in the real world could expect to successfully market something with these kind of design flaws. You know, when you really start to break down these end times movies, you start to notice some common elements. I'm not just talking about the theology of most of them, but the way the movies are made and what the filmmakers seem to rely on to tell their stories. And the massive flaws in logic and plausibility that they have to rely on to make the stories work. You know, I think I figured it out. I know why end times movies are so bad.
Hold on. You're just starting to say good things about the Mark movies. Admit it, you liked them.
Oh, they're definitely some of the better made end times movies I've seen, but just like Revelation Road and so many others, they're just fluff. Yeah, they may tack on a gospel message or try to scare people into getting saved, and yeah, there's more variety now. But when you really stop to analyze these movies, there's just so little real substance there. It's like they just rely on tropes or cheap thrills to hide their flaws, like B-monster movies or exploitation films even.
Nothing but low-budget horror movie claptrap.
So what you're really saying is you hate Christian movies and the people who make them.
Really? You don't know me at all then, do you? I'm a Christian filmmaker too. I know from personal experience just how much blood, sweat, and tears goes into making a movie, no matter how badly it turns out in the end. When I criticize a movie, I'm never trying to make personal attacks against the people who made them.
Oh, fine words. But you don't fool me. We have important messages to tell people. You just don't see it because you're too blinded by your own negativity. You're no storyteller. You're just a hater, like all the other critic hacks on the internet.
Alright then. That's what I'll do. I'll tell you a story. I've said some pretty harsh and careless things over the years I've done this show, and I've even had to make some apologies to people. But the best of people with the best of intentions can still make some awful movies. I get so worked up over end times movies because my soul aches to see Christians honor God by telling better stories and making better movies than we have been. But there's something about this genre. It's like a parasite, eating out the God-given creativity of storytellers, pandering to the lowest common denominator of spiritually weak audiences. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for what I've said today, but I've already been attacked. Not by you lot, but by Christians on the internet who didn't like me criticizing their darling movies last year. I was told that I was a wannabe, or that I was jealous. I even had someone say that I wasn't saved, all because I said that the gospel scene in Revelation Road was forced. If that's the kind of un-Christ-like attitudes you movies foster in people like that, then I just as soon see every last stinking end times movie wiped out of the sky!
Ah! Stop him! Destroy the storyteller! Destroy him now!
Oh, big mistake. Huge, whopping mistake. You've got me trapped. Didn't anyone ever tell you there's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart, if you value your continued existence, if you have any hope of seeing tomorrow, there is one thing you never, ever put in a trap. My pet. Meet the lock desk monster.
Potential never said he had a giant monster. I'm out of here.
Good boy. Well, that just happened. Wonder what kind of movies I'm gonna have to review next season. Oh boy.
You deny me! You deny me! You deny me! Your God!
Not true, you're not God!
And for this, you will be punished!
Diamanda Hagen.
That's God Empress Diamanda Hagen to you. Who are you, anyway?
A messenger. You are in danger of being outdone.
What are you talking about?
There is a reviewer whose power is equal and opposite to your own.
Unless they're a god, I highly doubt that.
He just reviewed 5 End Times movies at once in under 20 minutes.
That's like 4 minutes a movie. That's impossible! Minions, scour the multiverse for the reviewer who is most diametrically opposite to me. No one out-reviews Diamanda Hagen.